All right. Well,
Things are becoming so small.
pretty much all of the builds that I want to test are relatively complete. I think this Typhon is the only build where pretty much everything is really good. Even if it's not ancient, it's still pretty good. There really isn't a whole lot that's wasted or anything like that. I'm gonna get rid of it. Alright, so this should be... my build. Okay. Yeah, so this build here, this Hydra, is the only one that to me is relatively perfect. Granted, I could not augment all of it, because not all of it is Ancient Legendary. But as far as just testing it to see whether or not it will perform well, it's good. My Archon, I just got the Ancient Legendary. I don't know why it's showing this. I just got this. Oh, I know why. Because I just reforged it. This is what it reforged into. But I have not used this yet. But the only problem with this is that the damage is pretty much on the low end. And there was a shard in here. I think it was the critical hit shard. But anyways, I have not really fully tested this one yet because I had problems with the Chantoto Wave of Destruction. I didn't know what type of damage it was, and so I was boosting up Arcane, I think. But it needed to be cold, or I did both cold and Arcane. Either way, it wasn't getting the full effect that it needed. But this is probably ready to test. Aside from the fact that this Chantoto's will is very weak, that damage, base damage, is very much on the low end. Probably about the lowest it could have been. So, I just got to keep that in mind. So when I test it, I got a few ideas I want to try with it. And we'll see what happens. It's at the moment, it's 10 Greater Rift levels behind my other builds, so I don't expect it to really do work magic. But if it does happen to go up to 115, 116, something like that, and I feel that it's necessary, well, I'll do the bounties, and I'll get a better Chantoto's Will, and then we'll see. You know, how it does with that. Firebirds, I think I've got a complete setup. The Remnant of Pain is the only thing that I'm just not sure of, the version that I have. I don't think I got a fire version. But I wanted the one that boosts up attack speed. And I don't have fire with attack speed. But to get that, I would basically just have to farm Rakanoff. Because he's the one that drops these. Farm it. And then spend all of my Hellforge Embers trying to get it to where it would be both fire and attack speed. But before I do that, I am at least going to try it with this one here. Cold damage has a 50% chance to freeze enemies. And so I believe the fragment of destiny that I have, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that poison damage to cold damage. I believe that will trigger the effect. Now it's not going to hurt anything because the other abilities are already, they're not bad. And that empty socket is already, that's got the Ramadan's gift in it already. So I believe that cold damage will trigger that effect, even though it's a fire skill. I just don't think I'm going to be getting the 20% bonus to cold skill damage. But I'm hoping that the 50% chance to freeze them, creating automatic critical hits, will be roughly equivalent to increasing my attack speed. I hope. Anyways, that's what I'm going to test. I'm going to see how well that does. That's fiber. And then the last one, I might try Delseer first, because Delseer actually does pretty well for me. I'll try it with the, I think I've got some better weapons to try it with. And when I tried it before, my legendary gems weren't that high, so I've got some better equipment now. And I've got this now. So arcane damage when I critically hit an enemy, so I'll get attack speed. I did not have this before. I don't think I had an arcane version of it. So, and then the last test, saving the best for last, I don't know if it's going to be the best, but will be the ancient legendary version of that same energy twister build, except instead of using Delseer, I will be using Legacy of Dreams with all these items. And the only bad thing about it is I've got 3 items that each have 1 wasted ability. So this one here, that movement speed, is going to be wasted. This one here, the reduced cooldown is going to be wasted. Because this one I'm going to switch out that disintegrate damage, because that doesn't do anything at all. This one here I'm going to switch out the spectral blade damage, right? Is that right? Yeah. Because it's energy twisters, so the reduced cooldown will be completely wasted. And then unfortunately here, I'll probably be switching out the reduced cooldown, because I actually do want to reduce my resource cost with this build. But relatively speaking, that's going to be relatively wasted. So I just got to keep that in mind when I do this build. But that's going to be my test. I'm going to start off with Typhon, not Typhon, I'm going to start off with the Archon build. Because that's what I believe at the moment that's my weakest build. So I'm going to start off with the weakest and see where it ends up. Can't. Oh yeah, I can. Okay, I got keystones. I didn't think I had any keystones. What was I wearing? I know I meant to switch one of those out. I'm just not sure if I did. I guess I did. Alright. And it might take me a rift or two to get into the swing of it. I'm not just gonna jump in super high level greater rift. I'm gonna work my way up. Alright, so when I did it before, let's put that there first. Gotta get one of these too. Hold on. Yeah, let's start making one of these. Enchantress Focus. Make one. Upgrade. I was kind of hoping this would just have fallen, so I wouldn't have to make these. But Ancient Legendary. Gain access to all skills. Completely worthless. I need the one where your follower cannot die. It's a 1 in 3 chance. Okay.
When is that stopped you?
Because if she's dead,
Magnificent.
then I get no benefit from this. I get no benefit from this. I get no benefit from blind, so I lose everything, and I get no benefit from this. So, but especially, oh man, I can't tell you how many times I go to hit a pylon, and I don't get the enemy champion, and I'm like, what? And I look and I see it's because she had died. And I'm like, no. There. I got this. I got this. What's the other legendary gem that I wanted? This one, right? Oh. Cooldown reduction. Attack speed. It's got to be this one, even though this one's a much higher level. Or do I want this? Hang on. How come I can't remember this? Friends. Vyr Hero. Alright. It's the Gogok. I just wish I had leveled it up higher. All I'm losing is that little bit of dodge chance. I think I'll be alright. Alright, and Fazuli. Ancient legendary Fazuli. Okay, now, the thing that, let's put a socket in there. Okay, the thing that I was missing the first time around was the wave of destruction. Not knowing what type of damage it was. And that was important because I was using these arcane bracers thinking that it was arcane damage because I was choosing the arcane version of Archon. But all I had for shards was a cold-based shard. Probably this one. Okay? So it was kind of looking like this, where I have some in cold and some in arcane. I didn't realize that the damage type of the Chantota Wave of Destruction is not the same type as your Archon. What it is the damage type of your highest bonus. So here, my highest bonus is 31%. So it's going to be cold. But guess what? That means that this 29% is not going to be applied to the Wave of Destruction. It'll get applied to my Archon damage, but not to the Wave of Destruction. And the Wave of Destruction is what really does the big damage. So, I need to put everything, I believe, I want everything into cold. And I can, so I got one for each. You know, I could go here. Hitting enemies with cold damage, 50% chance to freeze them. And cold damage is increased by 20%. Rather than the one I'm currently using. Increase attack speed by 50%. Now the thing is that the extra attack speed will help me to get more stacks faster. Tough call. I guess I'll try it with both. I'm not sure which one is going to be better.
Prophet did not mention what a warrior you can be.
You know, I like the extra attack speed for the extra stacks. But also, if everything is going to be boosted up 20% plus 50% chance to freeze, and when they're frozen. Now, the only thing I don't like about that is, I don't know how much Rift Guardians are going to be frozen. And attack speed also is going to be affecting my deflection for extra shield. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it with this one first. Let's switch this to cold. So now I got a 47% chance to cold. So with this, I'd be losing 3% to damage, 8% to toughness, but 16% to cold damage. I do remember having some difficulties. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. I do remember having some difficulties staying alive, even when in Archon form. So esoteric alteration, maybe that's what I was thinking. Because I was thinking about this a lot. And although I'd be losing cooldown reduction, now cooldown reduction I've been finding doesn't matter hardly at all. Because the Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac gets me back to Archon fast. I will be losing attack speed. But I need to stay alive. So this esoteric alteration, I think I wanted to give that a try. Granted, won't be any help against
A lovely piece.
physical damage, but I want to be able to stay alive. And she doesn't need that, because now my follower cannot die. And that was the other thing I was thinking. I don't need all that much cooldown reduction. A little bit, yes, but I don't need that much. What I was finding when I was playing this before was that I was getting back to Archon. My Archon was getting back a lot faster than my Chantoto stacks were getting built up by. So I ended up not being able to get back into Archon form merely because I didn't have 20 Chantoto stacks. So if I can give up some cooldown reduction, for something else, that's what I'm going to do. Now I've got the extra esoteric. So since I've got the extra esoteric, I'm going to go ahead and just switch this out. I could pump that up to 20% probably, but let's just not worry about the 10% just yet. Critical hit. Yeah, I wish I could. Let me see if there's any new and improved items I've got that I don't have over here yet. Okay, so here is definitely something I want to change. Switch that out. I do wish it had the vitality, but in fact, I am going to switch it to vitality. But that armor is going to do me, I think, a lot better than reduced cooldown. switch that spectral blade out. Just take a look at my items, make sure I'm not missing anything. This armor. Alright, critical hit, vitality, 12% life. Let's just go with vitality. Cold skills, critical hit. Okay, let me see if I got a better compass rose, which I think I do. One without reduced cooldown. Okay, so that one's really good. That one's also really good. Okay, I like the physical resistance because this doesn't give me any protection versus physical, so probably anything that I can do to give myself physical resistance probably will be worth it. Probably don't need the critical hit chance though. I guess I'll... Let me see if I can switch that out for... Let's see if I got another one first. See if I can switch out that arcane resistance to physical. But first, let me see if I got a different one. Guess not. Guess that's the only one I've got. Alright, let's change it. What the heck? I mean, the critical hit chance, that's fine. There's, you know, probably nothing really wrong with that. So let's just see if we can switch this out for physical resistance. Reduce damage from ranged attacks is nice too. Right. Well, is that it? I think so. Too bad that's got the physical, but that disintegrate is worthless. I could change the gold to physical. But am I going to be losing? I'll be losing 3% toughness, going from armor to resist all. Might also be taking that fire resistance into account. Let me change over that 34%. If I can get physical or something. I think I only had that on there because I was thinking someday I might want to use Vyrs to farm Nephilim risks with, but oh, maybe you can't. I can't. You dummy. Alright. Alright. Well, whatever. Okay, and I gotta switch this over to cold, obviously. And the other thing I was looking at. Right, so now that's cold. That familiar spark flint. Oh. I mean, it gives me an extra 10% damage. Is there something better that I could be using? I can't use any of the armors. I could try Black Hole at the target location to draw enemies to it. Reduced damage. Plus an extra 3% increased damage for 5 seconds for each enemy hit. Huh. Each enemy hit increases the damage of my cold spells. 3% per enemy for 10 seconds, or increased damage plus decreased enemy damage. Could also go diamond skin, which is one that I was doing for a while, just to try to make sure that I don't die when coming out of Archon form. Could go slow time for 15 seconds. That might be worth it too. So reduced damage. 25% reduced damage. That might be the best thing. 15% more damage. Plus 10% attack speed. Oh man.
One time, I miscast the charm spell, and Sister Lysa was fawning over me for a fortnight. It was mortifying.
Well, black hole seems nice because you draw all your enemies to you, but the slow time one seems better. It's gonna last for 15 seconds. So it would be slow time and then go in Archon form. Now, not to mention the fact that reducing enemy attack speed by 20%, movement speed by 60%. Slow the speed of projectiles. 90%. Let's go with this one. I know what I was thinking also. I just remembered. This is what I was thinking. Not so much that esoteric alteration. %10 chance to be critically hit. Okay. Now the only thing I don't know is that I'm already relying on the freeze that what I'm using first? At the moment, I'm already relying on the freeze to do the critical hit. So they're already going to be getting critically hit half the time because they're going to be frozen. But if I'm going to use this one, at that point there is no freezing, right? I don't know. I don't know if the Archon... I don't think the Archon attacks necessarily freeze opponents. But I know my follower is going to be doing a lot of stun attacks and things like that. For some reason I thought there was one other thing that I could have been doing. Guess not. Thought there was a further way, another way for me to freeze enemies. All right. Well, for now, I'm not going to do that. For now, I'm just going to rely on my attack speed. But the next test I do with this, the other test I do, will be with this one. Hitting enemies with cold damage. 50% chance to freeze them. Cold skill damage increased by 20%. I'm just not incapacitating anyone other than my follower. So because I'm not incapacitating anyone, I more or less have to rely purely on the actual critical hit chance, which is 27%. Well, if I use this, if I'm going to use this, attack speed, cold damage, critical hit, I might be willing to give this up for the extra 10% from critical hit from all sources. For the duration. Okay, enemies chilled or frozen. So they have to be chilled or frozen.
I imagined that the hero of
Oh.
prophecy would be more lively.
Okay. Okay, I am already freezing enemies. I am already incapacitating enemies. I don't think it matters. Arcane Blast, Arcane Strike abilities freeze enemies. Don't know if I need to freeze any further than that. So this right here good portion, if not all of my attacks are going to be automatic critical hits. I don't need to do anything to increase my critical hit chance then. So therefore, okay. This would be good. This would be an extra, well, I mean, it'd be an extra 10% damage. But Ice Blink would not be needed, right? Would be plus 10% critical hit. Well, I don't need another 10% critical hit chance. Because I am freezing enemies. I'm already freezing them, so the hitting enemies with cold damage, 50% chance to freeze, that is meaningless. But cold damage is increased to frozen targets. Increased to frozen targets by 20%. So this is, it's either 20% to frozen targets or just giving me a flat bonus of 50% to attack speed. It's got to be better. This has got to be better. I'm already incapacitating enemies. I don't need to do any more to incapacitate enemies. This has got to be it. This is it. So the only other question... No, I think that's it. right, this is it. This is the build. Well, I think. Let me. I gotta take a quick break. I'm sorry I went through all that and I didn't even play a Rift, but I gotta take a break. All right, I will be. How much time have I spent doing this? Wow, this was an hour just doing this. Okay, I will be back.